First two directed at him. We haven't seen that much directed at him this entire tournament, but Cloud9 feels that it will be necessary, if you will, English is easy, to kill that teleport, kill that potential that he could bring to the fights. Now top lane and mid being focused by Unicorns of Love, but slow bans coming out here.
Yeah, look at that top lane. Taking everybody out there. Lissandra looks like she's a pretty sweet pick now.
Yeah, Lissandra and Maokai are really the only top tier picks that are left in the top lane. So I'm curious what they're going to prioritize on this.
Corki also gets through here. I don't know if they're going to want to first pick that away, but Cloud9 did run a lot of double AD with Corki in the early stages.
Is there any reason that Jace has been getting through and not picked? Just most of these AP compositions are really being what people want.
I feel it has to be a lack of familiarity with the champion then for the mid laners, because right now he's a really strong champion, so
yeah.
It's just that maybe the team hasn't practiced with it.
There's that Thresh takeaway. I mean, they value that over anything. I actually think this is really good, because if they had chosen to pick a top laner here, then they're going to give away Corki and a top laner.
Yeah.
So by doing this, they take away the support pick, and they still have another top laner they can pick to take it away from Unicorns.
Plus, they talk about how much they like having Thresh on Cloud9 side, just so that they do have those mid-game initiations, and Lemonation with his roaming.
As long as he's not too close to a turret.
Yeah. I feel like it's been... I feel like over the course of this tournament,
and a curse?
Yeah, he's been a little hit or miss. Of course, at the end of the Alliance game, he did come up with those big plays that helped
hook
them.
After a hook.
Backdoor, or not backdoor, but have sneaky split push out that inhibitor. But at the same time, he also has been going a little bit too aggressive sometimes, tower diving a bit too deep.
Yeah.
It's like Unicorns of Love wants the bot lane to start off, not showing a whole bunch. They usually get the strength out of Lucian for Vardags and Hylissang, but he does not get his Thresh this time. We'll have to see how that plays out. They will have a strong laning phase, so coming out of that will be quite easy, and it'll be safe to get to 6. Meteos now, does he go back to the Jarvan? Picking that out wouldn't really be kind of a crazy thing, and they wouldn't have to show too much with it. They could also pick that AD carry and show even less.
So, Vizicachi can play Maokai, and Maokai plus Braum is a really strong front line, and they could set up kind of a similar thing that Alliance did with a really strong team fight with a strong front line there, but I still feel like taking away Lissandra is going to be pretty big for
this.
this.
Corki Lissandra right here. Keep your picks ambiguous.
Syndra's up as well.
Whoa. Or not.
That's a curveball. I mean, I know that they like the Lee Sin a lot, but I'm surprised they didn't show their... Maybe they have a counter pick in mind, top lane, or... And of course, they've already picked their AD carry, so they don't really have to lock in the Corki. So they just didn't want to keep their picks ambiguous.
Yeah. I mean, Unicorns do have the final say as far as counter picks go, so they usually save that for Power of Evil also, but it's already been shown here for High, which, by the way, Syndra, not only Power of Evil, very good, strong champion, but it's also one of High's favorites.
Absolutely. Not afraid to blind pick that. Not afraid to blind pick his Fizz. Oh, please. Wow.
Okay. Lux.
I like it. Power of Evil locking in the Lux. We also have Kale coming out. That will be Kikis in the jungle, I believe. And we'll see what Hylissang grabs. So this is actually the first time Power of Evil really doesn't let his pick go down to the end. He feels strong enough to take the Lux, and we're going to see some final sparks going out this game.
I really want to see a Maokai pick up here. That's one of the counters to these kind of bursty mid lanes that don't have sustained damage, is you just come in and flank them with a Maokai, and you just don't have enough sustained damage to bring them down.
Yeah. I'm a little bit concerned about the Lux here too, because she has one of the lowest base HPs in the game and 0 mobility, which is the reason why we don't really see her very frequently.
No escape, yep.
So it's going to take a lot to deal with a Syndra and a Lee Sin coming at you for early games.
Yeah, I mean, after the move speed nerf as well, she's a sitting duck, so it's really going to take some good play. And Power of Evil has shown good positioning all tournament long, so, maybe it will be there, but he's going to have to take advantage of her range.
Good Lux play can be absolutely amazing. And Saint, you had it. Corki does get locked in down the line with Lissandra. 4 balls once again. Good mixed damage. Good set that they're bringing out for Cloud9 to start off this first in the best of 5 series we have for your grand final match here at Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. Cloud9 versus Unicorns of Love. Pick and ban's almost done, as we're about to round out here with the top lane, looking for Vizicachi. He did get banned out twice, so this is the first time we're seeing him trying to be the counter to the entire composition.
I think they really need to go for a pretty big tank here. The thing is that C9 has picked a very AP-heavy composition, and so if they do have a large tank in the late game, it will be very hard for them to deal with if they can kind of drag it out that long.
Yeah, Maokai's looking pretty good here. The thing is, Syndra's stun can go through even the strongest of front lines here. It's going to have to be a Braum shield to block that. Because that's what kills one weakness, right? If you get locked up, she can go down really quickly. If she's able to freely attack from the back lines behind Braum Malachi, then that's how Unicorns are really going to take their advantage.
They have a lot of ways of blocking Syndra's combo damage, too. They have Kill Ultimate and they have Braum Shield. Plus, don't underestimate Lux's W. Like, that thing is absolutely insane late game if you get some AP. Like, I'm not even kidding. You will save your whole team from everything.
Now, oftentimes, too, since Lux is so long range, if he gets a good start, it's one of the mid laners that sometimes will buy a Medjai's.
Yep.
Do you feel like I feel like Power Evil is the type of guy who would be like, I'm gonna get a Medjai's and roll the dice here. Like, it could snowball quickly for him.
Well, we'll have to see. We're going to be getting into the game shortly. Right after this quick break, it is Cloud9 versus Unicorns of Love for the grand finals here at Intel Extreme Masters San Jose.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose, and we are moving into the grand final here, and what a game this one promises to be. Cloud9 versus Unicorns Love. Jack, what do we make to picks and bans in game one?
They're really cool. Honestly, like we see from every Unicorns of Love game, Kayle and Lux, we haven't seen too much Kayle jungle. There's been a fair resurgence of it. Kayle's banned in OGN. Maybe it'll be banned soon against Kikis. And honestly, I think we're going to see Soul Stealer Lux.
Yeah, I think
that's actually something that's definitely going to happen.
He played it game 1 versus Lion, I think, didn't he, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, it was game 1 or 2. He definitely played it in that series.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about Lux. Obviously, you mentioned it straight away about the Medjai's.
Yeah.
And actually, we just saw Kobe mention it. That's what we actually think he's going to go in this.
Yeah, I mean, one of the little not noticed changes necessarily because everything else was changing is the fact that when you buy Soul Stealer, it actually has 5 stacks on it already. So like after 1 kill, it would become gold efficient. It's just more punishing on deaths. You lose half of your stacks instead of a third of your stacks. But definitely because Lux can get assists just from shielding anyone, and it's so easy to do that in team fights, you get a little bit ahead and you just play really safe and far back. 20 stack Soul Stealer Lux is a real possibility. You can be 5, 0, and 6 and have 20 stacks.
Well, let's not forget what's on the line here as we get into game number 1 of the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose final. Not just surprise money for the winner, but the trip to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship in Katowice next year, which is, as we heard Meteos actually talking about earlier, a big, big pleasure for these teams. We'll see, though, who gets there as we move into this first match. And Power of Evil and High already having a bit of a battle in the mid lane.
Wow, going straight at it, no messing. We just talked about, whether High would play passively, whether they would go full-on aggression, but we've already seen it getting straight in each other's faces. This looks like Cloud9, though, going for that invade. We saw this a couple of times versus Alliance. They got around there, got those deep wards, so they can tell whether it's going to be a 2v1. Do they want that situation? Again, it seems that they are going to back away from it. And it looks like it's going to be a simple start. High actually back into base. We already see Power of Evil gone back, topping off that health.
I really wonder how simple it will be, because if I've learned anything by watching these 4 games of Kikis' jungle, it's that he very rarely will do a standard start. And I kind of feel like Meteos is the jungler who's going to want to play that game. With all that being said, though, Krug start from Kale and a non-lane swap, potentially Gromp start from Meteos would be as standard as it gets.
Well, let's figure this one all out then. Meteos right now. See where he decides to go.
It's a great
Move
ward.
150 in there. That ward will spot Meteos coming around, so got full vision of that jungle. Start to know as well that Balls will be there helping him out. Meanwhile, Kikis and Vizichachi going to be starting up on the top side of the map, and also both bottom lanes doing the camp on their side.
Yeah, and it actually seems like it's the thing to do that you want both of the guys hitting level 2 right away. A lot of the things I was seeing in solo queue is just giving it all to the AD carry, but the fact is they get pretty much half a level each, and when they hit level 2 at the same time, it is much more advantageous than just having one dude level 2 and the other guy level 1 for a long time.
Well, Power of Evil going to want to try and get that passive proc onto high as much as possible, which is why you see him playing very aggressive. Mentioned to get that Luminescence on him. And again, dodging out. We're going to have to see how well he can sidestep. This bottom lane, though, we saw in the Alliance game just how much Sneaky and Lemonation wanted to trade against Reckless and Nif. We'll see if Hylissang and Vardags are up to the task. Right now, you see Sneaky already pretty low. Took a seemingly either a burst when he came into lane or a bit too much damage from those Krugs in the bottom.
I actually feel like UOL's bottom lane has been the most impressive bottom lane possibly that we've seen so far. I mean, it's also hard to count out Sneaky and Lemonation. Sneaky, for me, has been so amazingly good. I mean, if you just add up like his scores at the end of the game, he's got astronomical amounts of stats.
I agree. We shouldn't take away from how awesome that series was at the start of the day. Sneaky and Reckless having carry wars between each other. And then I'd say the reason Vardags is kind of unnoticed is because there were so many standout performers yesterday with Unicorns of Love against Team Solomid. It just wasn't time to watch the bottom lane. But you look at his scoreline as well and just his ability to stay safe in team fights. It was all very effective, and in a sense, we can try and use this game as the decider for who's the top performing AD carry in this IEM.
Which, you know, in itself, if you'd have watched the promotion series, the Challenger series last year, a lot of the questions were on Vardags and Hylissang. I distinctly remember talking about them, you know, talking about they were the weak point on the team, but they really have done very well. They've obviously, you know, as a new team, this is something we had, obviously, when Meteor Makers came into the scene. They were very hungry, and they're clearly Unicorns of Love. They've practiced very hard for the Intel Extreme Masters. They won the fan vote to get here. They've obviously got the EUAL CS they want to make a big impact on when they come into it. And honestly, it seems to have worked very well for them. I know they've practiced with Gambit. I guess a few other teams in the European scene while Alliance have been over here, and they have really impressed me coming into this tournament.
And it's a great start as well for a team coming into the European LCS, to, you know, to come to Intel Extreme Masters and get a bit of stage experience, you know, get yourselves out there more in the community, you know, build up your fan base while you go. And they've put in some really impressive performances. Going to put them in good stead moving forward. But for now, it's that spot at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship they're looking for. Elimination lands a hook, but Hylissang full HP, no real follow-up from that.
Yeah, Power of Evil gained 6,000 to 8,000 Twitter followers yesterday alone after his performance against Bjergsen. I expect if the other guys have their Twitter handles circulating out there, they're going to get a bunch of followers as well. But yeah, that first type of jungle engagement, Meteos trying to get Raptor control, because honestly, I feel like this is what control jungle is all about, being able to get the Raptor buff off. First person to smite it actually gets the oracles. It doesn't matter who kills it.
Yeah, Kiki's got it actually towards the end there. I was just about to say, you know, a level 4 Lee Sin versus a Kayle, you would assume Lee Sin would be stronger in that fight, but neither of them engaged on each other.
They were very scared of the mid lane presence. I mean, both a Lux and a Syndra, if they catch you with a stun or a bind, respectively, over the wall, you're dead at this point in the game, I think.
I see Power of Evil playing this one passively. And that's the problem. He can get his spells off, but to, you know, pop them afterwards, he has to come super close, and that stun becomes so easy to land for high, and especially once they hit level 6, that's not what you want to do. You know, we see Kikis here having to go on the crab down on the bottom side of the river, trying to get some free control of that river area. And actually, there's no ward here for Cloud9 Question is whether he can get him. Meanwhile, Meteos coming in underneath the tower. They'll not dive Vizichachi, or will they dive him?
They may
They
go
have
for
a
it.
level 6 right here in Lissandra, and he's very low. They should just go.
They are going for it. He's in trouble. Is he going to be enough, though? They're going to try and juggle the tower. Balls has had to back away. Vizichachi's still alive. Meteos comes around. There's a minion wave with him. I don't think he's going to escape it. He hasn't quite got enough to lock onto Balls. And first blood will go to the top laner.
Classic Cloud9 in the sense there. Balls hits level 6 first as Meteos comes up to the top lane. It's what they did in a many 2014 LCS games. It wasn't the cleanest of dives. I actually think Balls should have ulted himself there, but they wanted to control the damage. They get the kill, and they maintain a strong CS advantage.
Very nicely done there, putting them up in the lead in this one. We also saw, just to mention, Power of Evil going flash and heal, so his kill potential in that middle lane going to be dropping somewhat. As Hylissang once again getting hooked in, and once again not really caring too much about that. Pretty high in terms of health. The difference in this bottom lane, though, is that VODS is over 10 CS in the lead right now, so really having a good time of this farm in the early stages. We'll have to see, though, how that all develops. We should also touch on the fact Power of Evil gone straight in there to the tier, first of all.
Yeah, he used that ulti pretty quickly as well. There's no messing around. I was wondering how he would go with Lux, whether he's going to hold on to that. Sometimes you see players hanging on to it for a long time, but it's such a short cooldown that he's already fired it off this early on.
I think if he's tiered double Dorans, he's full wave clear. I don't even think he's going to walk within 1,000 range of Cinder. He's going to throw his E out when Cinder's not near, wait for the minions to come out, because you can leave it on the ground for like over 5 seconds. The Lux E, pop that one. That means the next cooldown of his E would be able to clear the minions, and if Lux obviously isn't in range, he's got an auto attacks. He's just not going to be close at all to high and use this huge mana pool to farm. Otherwise, he would have gone Morellonomicon if he was thinking about more fighting, but then he wouldn't be able to use 2 E's per wave to farm.
Oh, this bottom lane now being pushed back out by the Unicorns of Love. And VODS maintains his lead. And Sneaky been around about half HP this entire time. Being bullied out there by VODS. Both AD carries have now hit level 6. And looks like they'll actually be going back for the first time here. Picking up first item. Certainly it'll be Sneaky and Lemon Nation that will be recalling out of this one first. Meanwhile, Meteos on the bottom side of the map, going to be getting the red buff. Went decently low, so we'll see if he decides to recall right now, or what he is, in fact, recalling. As High played a bit of a dangerous game there up in the enemy jungle, trying to clear out that ping ward.
Look at the coverage, look at the support. Balls knew, and High also knew that they were collapsing towards him. And immediately, Balls comes down, giving that coverage. Balls still sticking around in this river area. He could well try and make a dive on towards Power of Evil, and combined, they would have a lot of damage to take him down. It's a very squishy target this early on, but it is going to be Balls returning back to the top lane. Lemonation is spotted around there, but Power of Evil, as you mentioned, playing this completely passively. This is how he wanted to do it. Shield went out before the stun hit him. He's been getting that out. He knows as well as High does. You know, he's obviously played a hell of a lot of Cinder in his time, and he's just going to sit passively and cover this one off.
Yeah, he's not making the same mistake Bjergsen made yesterday against Power of Evil when Power of Evil was playing Cinder. He's just never giving High a chance to get into range, and it's the smart thing. That's the reason he didn't take something like Ignite on Lux, because he's going to be really far away from people on Lux and never get a chance to use it. The heal is, I think, going to benefit him much more in the late game.
Oh, we're going to see another dive in this top lane. Balls is there. Meteos also coming around. Obviously, that first one, as we said, not the cleanest of dives, but both getting away with their lives and taking that first blood. And that's almost as clean as you really need at this stage. Meanwhile, we are seeing the row. Meteos up in the UOL jungle. High is actually joining. They're going to be taking away the Raptors, while mid lane and jungler for Unicorns are doing blue.
Some deep wards coming out here from Cloud9, getting full vision of that top half of the jungle. That puts some serious problem for Vizichachi, because Unicorns of Love were busy taking away that blue buff, and now they may actually try and come around the backside of Power of Evil.
Or just wait for Kikis to walk into that brush. I think they're hoping one of those things happens quickly. Either the minion wave gets to the turret, in which case they want to dive Lux, or Kikis comes in, and they've actually just desynced their timing a little bit. That was really unlucky there by Cloud9 in what was otherwise a well-orchestrated play.
Incredibly tense start to this one. Vizichachi actually just coming down. There's the hook landing from Lemon Nation. Not really much follow-up though. Corki was way away. Did land one of those rockets from max range, but again, Hylissang pretty tanky at this point with the Sight Stone now picked up for him. Actually, it was Boots and Mobility that were rushed there for Lemonation. So he wants to get involved in that mid lane mostly, as we actually saw him try and join high that little bit earlier on, but it remains Power of Evil sitting so far back that Thresh doesn't even have a chance to get in there.
Yeah, battle of the ward control right now between these teams. You can see a lot of pink wards already going down, and Kikis is possibly, no, he's not going to find it, so they have good vision right now, Cloud9. They know that he's in the top. That may actually buy enough time for Meteos. You can see immediately trying to counter in this one. They may either look towards getting themselves a kill or possibly try and set up for a dragon early on because they know that jungler is so far away.
Yeah, and it's because Cloud9 has very good vision control of the map. That invade they had on the red buff, I want to point out that pink ward they placed in the red jungle over top of the red buff. That's my favorite pink ward deep ward spot. It is a space where a jungler will only go if they want to see if there's a ward there, and if they never expect you to be in there, it's just not a place they check. I've seen those wards last the entire game. It spotted Kikis, it gave him a dragon attempt, and it gave him the dragon.
Ball's taking quite a lot of damage there up against Vizichachi in that top lane. Look at the CS, very even on the top side of the map. Mid lane, 13 CS difference right now, and a similar chunk of change in the bottom lane where VODS already has a BF sword, and there's this whole stealer that we were thinking about earlier for Power of Evil.
I think it's exactly what Lux does. It's not like it's an item that sets him back off the bat. It only becomes bad if he starts dying. Yes, he's losing a tiny little bit of gold efficiency. I think it starts at like 90% the value of gold you put in it. But because he just needs a little bit of stuff to go right, he can start protecting those stacks very well, knowing how far away Lux can stay and play if you really want to play that style with a Soul Stealer.
As Kikis got in unseen. Doesn't look like High wants any of it, though. He's keeping his distance, wants to go get his Morellonomicon, but it seems Balls has already completed that, but instead they're going to go for Invade. Good timing, blue buff up. Meteos is there, but it looks like they're going to get spotted. Yep. Meteos, as soon as they put that ward down, it is going to get covered off. Remember that. Laser is available from Power of Evil. They're in a straight line right now, but he's not going to fire it off.
That ward got so much value. 2 sweepers and the Raptor buff from Meteos. They were really afraid of a Lux binding catching them while they're hitting that ward, and I say a little bit too respectful, actually.
Oh, another hook from Lemon Nation down bottom, not quite landing onto VODS. He was now 25 CS up. That lead really getting bigger for him. His kick is gonna spot high, but there is a stun and the ultimate coming out high, but I don't think this one's done just yet. Kick is actually getting ignited there and deciding to back away. Did have his intervention if he needed it. Now Power of Evil moving in as well, which means this blue buff, for all intents and purposes, is gonna be stolen away by UOL.
That was really impressive, honestly. High versus a jungler there. Pretty much got outdone in damage. Power of Evil is going to pick up the blue buff. A good invade. Now they have to protect their own, of course. But Kikis, again, in the right place, ready and waiting. They'd already visited it once, but he was ready for Power of Evil, for High to return.
Yeah, very dangerous game he was playing there opening up. You could see High's instinct as well, knowing just put as much burst damage down on a kill as possible. Otherwise, I'm going to get my damage eaten by the intervention. But it still wasn't enough. High had to be driven back. Power of Evil was there for the support. And since it was essentially a little bit of Kikis' health that he can sustain with his heal versus the ultimate of High and the Ignite even, it was an incontestable blue buff.
So, mid lane, Morellonomicon finish, plus a needlessly large rod for High. His ultimate not quite bursting Kikis down last time, but would certainly do a lot more damage if that were to happen again. It's like Cloud9 wanting to get more control. Big part of their game is making sure that those wards are down, getting rid of the pink on the top side, clearing out the crab on the bottom side as VODS is going incredibly low, forced to use his flash and summon a heal. But the rest of the team coming around, kick from Meteos, finished actually with the Q, and VODS just a little bit too far up all on his own. UOL going to try and push the mid turret.
Yeah, they're steaming straight in there. Blue buff is up, which is what Cloud9 are taking, but is that worth it? A kill and a blue buff? Losing the middle turret? I don't think so. That is by far going in Unicorn as a love favorite. Honestly, VODS probably could have got out of that if he ran.
Well, there was a lot of people coming to cut him off.
I mean, they cut him off early.
That they at least made a good trade of it in order to get that middle turret. Cloud9 will come out a little bit ahead since they got kill, turret trade plus the blue buff. The only disadvantage is they potentially lose a lot of that mid lane control. Knowing how good Power of Evil is, he now has more room to roam. And there's a roam.
They're trying to cut them off right down, and down in the bottom lane you can see Kikis and Hylissang making moves here. Sneaky and Lemonation, can they lock them up? Hook on towards him, Sneaky's going to be the focus on towards Hylissang. Teleport comes in, Balls is going to join the party here. There goes the Glacial Fisher, going to go on towards them. They haven't got the damage, and that was pretty uncoordinated from Unicorns of Love. And now VODS is in trouble. He can't go 2 for 1. He just got destroyed by Meteos.
Yeah, that just went completely wrong. They didn't respect the overall position of Cloud9. I'm still a little bit confused about how bad that was. I'll have to see the mini-map on the replay because that was never going to work. They tried to cut them off when they were close enough to the turret, and the only thing that Cloud9 would do if they don't want to run away is turn and kill you because they have the numbers advantage.
Not what the Unicorns of Love were probably thinking when that one all game ball. Let's watch it again, though.
Yeah, I mean, just look at this right here. They have 2 people here. They don't even need to teleport, I'm pretty sure. Lysandra was going to come in and clean it up, but she did teleport. I was confused. That's why it happened. They didn't respect the teleport. Lysandra came in while Lee Sin arrived, and that's just things that Unicorns of Love were not accounting for. They weren't spacing out summoner spells. You can only make that play if Lysandra's TP is down, and even then you need eyes on the jungler. Neither of those things were done.
Yeah, Vizicachi actually didn't have any vision of Balls either. He was round about mid lane, clearing the waves, so had no idea the teleport was coming in, didn't give any warning to his team, and Power of Evil wasn't quite in range either, so they did get themselves a tower out, so Unicorns of Love, top turret down. Is that going to get traded off? Not too sure how much damage is actually on that top one, but Dragon up in 15 seconds. Unicorns of Love are in position here. Meteos is just off at the side, but they're going to have the ward placement to try and create something, and Sneaky's a little out of position right now.
Yeah, but to make matters worse, during that replay actually where Balls had teleported in and Vizicachi couldn't match, Balls killed Vizicachi. Again, 1v1 there with Lysandra. We've seen that matchup play in Lysandra's favor time and time again.
Oh, this is risky.
Oh, Scrying Orb will be used. Dragon still got 4,500 HP. Meteos is decently low, but the rest of the team coming in. There is the hook onto Hylissang, and he'll be completely singled out. That's a good little
good laser
coming out of Kikis. Will he fall? No. But we do see VODS go down. High falls low, but in comes the lantern. Meteos locked up. Shutdown comes in for Hylissang, but Sneaky going mad on the backside. Ultimate comes through, but will that be enough to save Vizicachi as well? He'll run for his life. Lemonation should have a hook here in a second. He goes wide though.
They're all still very low. They have to respect the Power of Evil is still lingering, so they can't start the Dragon off. And then we're going to see a repeat of that fight all over again in a second.
It definitely seems like it. These death timers are pretty short this early in the game, and the Dragon is a very contestable objective. Cloud9 is threatening to run away with this game, I'd have to say, knowing with their kill distribution and their ability to force fights with Lysandra Syndra. Unicorns of Love has to be very cautious about going back to that Dragon.
Really like the fact that Cloud9 after that coming in here with 3 pink wards in their inventory as well. And this has been won that fight once again, down by the Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, you could see balls coming right over the wall, and the playmaking potential of Lemonation's Thresh just out-supporting Hylissang right there. Hylissang had such a good Thresh yesterday, Lemonation taking it away from him, and then the continued chase here, Cloud9 with pretty good overall control of their team, and Sneaky knowing exactly when he can get aggressive, balking in to 4 people very safely.
Well, here we go. As I mentioned, it looks like it's going to be round 2. Let's see who can make this pay off. Elimination going to get focused. Vizicachi will get the twisted advance. Instead, he's going to get hooked in. There's a lot of damage going his way, but the laser will burn down Elimination. Vizicachi is the one that picks up the kill. Balls clean down Kikis, though, so it's a 1-for-1, and that's the jungler down, more importantly, for the Unicorns. Surely the Dragon is going to go Cloud9's way.
Yep, 2 separate fights going on right there. One with the catch of Elimination in the mid lane. The other one, though, was just the pile on to Kikis through his ultimate, and the Dragon gets taken down. Unicorns, though, trying to make a rotation to pick up something on the backside.
They might be able to force this turret. I mean, they got Lucian there. They're going to be able to tank it if that minion wave even does end up going down. However, the counterplay from Cloud9 is real. They're pushing up that mid lane. This inner turret will go down in the top lane, though, in favor of the Unicorns of Love. The question is, do they keep going? They've sent one man back. Kikis will try and defend the inner turret. They may even try and close in on this one. Syndra and Thresh chasing from the back. Lee Sin gonna come around the side as well. Kick not available for Meteos.
And
that
the
might
TP.
be important. TP coming in as well.
They're going to go on towards him, but they're locked straight onto Boss. Boss trying to do the damage, but can he get in there in time? I'm not sure he can. Kikis is about to join the Vizichachi. Could be the sacrificial lamb instead, coming around the side. Sneaky comes around. Could he clean up? He gets himself one. High gets the second. Hillisan goes down. It's a double for Sneaky, and another 3 for 0 to Cloud9.
Just superior rotations through and through right there. Trade. Eventually, Unicorns of Love fell so far behind that they got collapsed upon. They're getting a little bit greedy almost. It's after you lose something, you want to try and get something back quickly. They just can't do it.
Trying there.
Frustration laser, I think that was, yeah.
And that leaves them 12-3 up in kills. A lot of kills to be up at this stage. 4,000 gold almost is the lead for Cloud9. And we're going to see that one again. Again, just a complete chase down from the Unicorns of Love, who just hung around on that tower too long.
They were outnumbered this entire fight. 4v3, they actually play the 4v3 fairly well. Then it becomes 5v3, and that's a bit too much. Sneaky again with the Valk in, because they are just so much better positioning than Unicorns of Love. They have so much better positioning.
You know, I think if you look back at that fight, you saw VODS. I think he was using an attack move because he was fighting off, shooting away at Meteos. Whereas if he'd have put those just 2-3 auto attacks onto balls, he would have got the kill early on because he was instantly locked up.
Yeah.
So it could have gone a different way, but no, coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's always so much easier when we've got the benefit of this spectator client that can just see everything unfolding in front of us. As it is, the Unicorns of Love are now trailing by 3,000 gold, but more importantly to them, that 12-3 scoreline is going to look mighty right now in this first game of the final.
And 2 dragons. I mean, there's definitely a little bit of a difference in observing these games this year than it was last year. In particular, something that we've noticed throughout this entire event is that the gold leads just don't seem to grow because Dragon's not giving global gold anymore. But what we need to pay attention to is the experience, the kill distribution, and the dragon buffs. And right now, that's where Cloud9 has all of their advantages.
Oh, they're trying to set up. Actually, VODS wasn't falling for the bait there. Down the bottom, Sneaky and Lemonation wanted to try and make a play, but the vision is slowly but surely, as we said before, creeping the way of well, pretty much Lemonation, because he's the man that's putting the vision down. But Cloud9, you can see, if you look at the mini-map, starting to claw their way in. That bottom half of the jungle covered off, so most likely will be those towers. They still haven't taken down that outer turret in the top lane where Vizichachi is currently holding back balls.
Which is amazing because Vizichachi's died multiple times up there. They've just never been able to take the turrets down on the other side of it. Just being a stubborn old tree up there trying to keep that turret alive.
We'll see whether he'd be able to continue like Wicked was earlier on, become that giant redwood which he had defending it. The whole of Cloud9, though, are making moves throughout this jungle. This is a scary, scary time for the Unicorns of Love. This is where they could easily quickly snowball this game out of control. That tower will go down to the minions. That will finally finish off. They get a peek in there. Kick is actually stunned out by High and quick burst. And it looks like this top ramp turret, the Unicorns of Love are not in position. They're not in place, and Vizichachi just has to give up on it.
And most importantly, they can't see Cloud9. They need to have vision control if Power People wants to utilize that Lux, especially since he's protecting his stacks. They have to take the most inefficient route down to that turret in order to make it there. And now, if the mid lane starts pushing, they're not going to be able to go over there without safety. Eventually, they're just going to have to start running inside their base unless they can get some of this vision back.
Unless you see this, where Kikis tries to sneak through balls, doesn't go aggressive on him though. He will get the vision away from them. But again, as you mentioned, look at the mid lane. Syndra in there. High shoving that wave up. They have to rotate, and at the moment, they are just playing possum and desperately trying to defend against anything that Cloud9 have. Everybody backs to buy. Let's see what their next target is with the Dragon up in a minute's time. That is almost certainly where they're going to go. And still, they've already got pink wards still down there, so they don't even need to come in and throw down the wards.
Did see a couple of important items here, though, finished in the last half a minute or so for Unicorns of Love. Shiv coming out for VODS, and the Death Cap finished off for Power of Evil. So that will level things up somewhat on the item front, but honestly, 4,000 gold there behind. Will they even dare? I mean, they've got no vision on this bottom side. Vizichachi was around that bottom side, and he might actually just get closed in on here. Where's he going to run? I was impressed by your tree knowledge, by the way, with your Redwood statement earlier, but he's not going to be all that giant with 2 men from Cloud9 here chasing him down. Make that 3, in fact 4, because they've got High coming in as well.
He's pulling them all away, though, and the rest of Unicorns of Love are going to take the mid turret right now because everybody's going for him. The Dragon will be up in a moment. He's delaying it as long as he can. Now look at the mid lane. You can see Unicorns of Love all over this one, while Power of Evil tries to keep them busy and away from that middle objective. Oh, they couldn't risk it.
It becomes another big dance with danger, though, right here, because Unicorns of Love keeps trying this. When they're caught out of position a little bit, they're trying to roll the dice again and make something better happen. They still got the death. Cloud9 adapted very well, and now they get an uncontested dragon, because not only do they have the Maokai dead, they've also pushed the rest of Unicorns of Love completely to the other side of the map.
Dragon going down really quickly there as well, down to 3,000 HP already. We can see their laser comes through, trying to steal it. Actually caught some damage onto Balls. There's a dive-in. Kikis actually will use an early intervention, but here comes the rest of the team. Balls will fall low. He's got a Zhonya's, though. That will keep him alive, and now the TP from Vizichachi.
Vizichachi goes in, gets on towards Sneaky. Can they lock him down? They take him down. Can the Unicorns turn this around? They've taken a lot of damage. That was a good slow as well. Power of Evil already used that laser, but the cooldown is quite long. Vizichachi needs to get that twisted advance. He's already used the flash. Meteos turns around and risks it, tries to bait him into coming in. Power of Evil quickly eating that stun. Have they got enough to try and tank down and push on this turret? I don't think so. And it was something for nothing, but I don't think they can pressure this tower.
They got a really hard-to-kill team, and they also have Cinder back in base, plus the Corki wave clear is down. They wouldn't be able to pressure the turret unless Cloud9 doesn't have any wave clear, so that's why they can finish this off no problem. A really well-controlled team fight for a team that was looking quite far behind, but is building the right items and playing the team fights well.
3 dragons, though, for Cloud9 up until now.
Yeah.
Getting closer to that magic number. We'll see how Unicorns deal with that as we move forward. There's a blue buff coming up. Power of Evil will get this one, despite that pink ward on top of it, revealing all that going down. Baron started off here by Cloud9.
This is just such good timing.
Hylissang's backing off. They have no idea that this is happening right now, the Unicorns. Absolutely zero idea that this is going down.
They killed a ward in the back, so they've got some idea, but it's like, are they doing it? We can't see them anywhere, and by the time they come around, we see the laser about 5-6 seconds too late on that one, and Cloud9 picking up the Baron, along with those dragons, far ahead now. More than that 5,000 gold really tells us.
You're absolutely right about that. The attack damage, ability power, no more health regeneration, but the empowered minions will be fantastic if they want to set up some type of siege, or even a bit of a split push here would be great for them.
Well, yeah, it would.
That's all right, guys. We're back.
We're safe.
Just a little glitch in the Matrix, and we are able to get back into it. But we were talking earlier about Sneaky and just how well he's performed throughout this tournament. He's 5-1-5 once again on the Corki. He's in the right place at the right time. He always is the man. He Valks in, gets that cleanup, picks up those couple of exit frags, you could also almost call them exit kills towards the end there. While VODS, he is in a little bit of problems right now. Not able to get into it, but that's just really the story of the game. You know, Cloud9 have been picking up 1, 2, 3 kills, while Unicorns of Love, they only get the 1 or 2, and that's going to be the tower. They're just being pushed and punished out of position because, of course, they've got these buffed up minions now.
And this is the best thing that Cloud9 is doing with these multiple empowered waves of minions. They try and get as many close to the turrets as possible, and they're making it impossible for Unicorns of Love to cut the minion wave. Basically kill it before they're empowered and on top of the turret. And since there's no vision control, they cannot preempt any of those waves. Therefore, Cloud9 gets some really good pushing through. High takes a bit of damage, though.
Yeah, getting a little too aggressive there. Does take the laser while he was trying to get the stun down, but the rest of his team were close by to protect him. Elimination, of course, with that shield thrown his way, but they're sticking around, and they are not backing off this fight. They want to create a play, and they sense blood here, and Balls, he's looking to go for a big ulti.
Yeah, well, he got Scrying Orb, so Unicorns of Love is basically just getting rid of the danger by running far, far away.
But these towers undefendable for the Unicorns of Love, and they're just losing one after the other. The only inner turret that's left is on that top lane, and then it's all down to the base, which surely going to become impossible to defend at some stage. As Vizichachi just trying to push out Balls, though, was able to just walk off, wasn't slowed down, and he'll be totally fine with that. Sneaky actually going in, already got that Infinity Edge Trinity Force Sorcerer Shoes, just picked up a Cutlass as well. 5-1-5 being incredibly impressive so far throughout Intel Extreme Masters San Jose.
Yeah, he's been impressive for the last year, in my opinion, and he just keeps getting better and better. One thing I actually have to point out, I mentioned earlier the Unicorns of Love were building well, and while they are in a sense that the Mercury treads on Kikis was smart, they really need a lock into the Island Solari. I'll get to it later, though.
Hillisang is in all sorts of trouble. He's going to get caught out. Another death sentence comes in. This time Vizichachi might get focused on. That's going to be a light binding. Will slow down Cloud9's progress as Balls just gets a little poke towards them. And again, 4v5, and the Unicorns are back in defensive mode. You know, there's a lot of pressure on Unicorns in this one because so far they are undefeated at the Intel Extreme Masters. You know, this could well be their first taste of defeat. It is a best-of-5 series, though, so there's a lot of games to go in this one. It's going to be interesting to see if they lose this game, how well they recover.
Yeah, and they're going to have a test of whether or not they are a tilty team on these circumstances. A lot of guys jump out to a lot of success. It's easy to win and be a good, jolly team when you're only winning. But how would they adapt to defeat? I really think Maokai needs to not have that Spirit Passage, have a lock for the Iron Solar.
Everything thrown at Vardax there. Elimination tries to get in, hooks this time on towards Hillisang. Power of Evil taken low. He's in trouble. He goes down, and quickly they jump all over the Balls. Locks up the entire team as High gets himself a double. Will it be a triple? No, it'll Balls that will clean that one up. And just like that, game over, Unicorns of Love.
Definitely looks like it. They're not super minions, and it is 20 seconds on the death timers. We'll see if Vizichachi can defend, but it is basically over for how well Cloud9 is dominating these fights.
Yeah, those lasers trying to do the work for them, but Vizichachi, he comes in after getting hooked up, and with the next wave of minions now coming through, it's about balancing the turret aggro for a little while. Sneaky actually getting caught by it, but then both Nexus turrets are down. Vizichachi might be finished off here before they finish off the Nexus. No, the focus is on the Nexus, and Cloud9 pick up game number 1 here in the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose Grand Final, and it looked like a walk in the park.
Yeah, 3 dragons, Baron, uncontested for most of the game. They lost some turrets in trades, but I can't really say they had any bad trades when all is said and done. And they took the surprise factor of the Lux and Kayle, neutralized it completely like they played against it plenty of times.
Yeah, and a wise pick and ban phase, honestly, for me, for Cloud9. They knew exactly what they're doing. They were happy to pick Syndra blindly into whatever they had thrown at them. Overall, fantastic performance, Cloud9. Really coming to this tournament, you know, they did drop a game against Alliance, but honestly, even the Alliance game, they looked solid.
And Alliance, let's not take anything away from them. They're a very, very good team.
Yeah.
Right? Once Cloud9 warms up in these events, and we also, that's the trouble with these tournaments that are 2 days long, right? Pain Gaming was also pretty good. And Cloud9 was struggling with them a little bit to make it through. Maybe they've kind of got their bangs and could potentially roll through, but I mean, we got 5 games for a reason.
Yeah, best of 5, my favorite format. Actually, best of 7 is even better, but there just aren't enough hours in a day to get those kind of games out of the way. But guys, for now, we are going to head over to the analyst desk where